Hey y'all, it's me, Kevvie. Oh my gosh. I just got back from seeing Death on the Nile, and oh my gosh, I loved it. So, Death on the Nile is the second in this new Poirot series, being directed, I think produced, and starring Kenneth Branagh as Poirot. When I saw the first film, Murder on the Orient Express, I hated it. They changed so much, and it was not at all like the book. Although, to be fair, I did love the new opening scene they made for it. Rather than just beginning with Poirot on his travels, they had him in Jerusalem solve a real quick case. I thought that was a brilliant way to introduce a new generation, a new audience to this character. Just give them a real quick taste. Okay, this is what he can do. This is how badass he is at his crime-solving abilities. So yeah, I really liked that. And then after I watched that film again, I loved it. Yeah, it's different. Yeah, they changed things, but it's still good. Today's audience is completely different than the audience that Agatha Christie was writing for. Now, I think it is smart to adapt the story in a way that would resonate with a new audience. So I went into seeing Death on the Nile knowing that they were going to be changing things and hoping to be okay with it. And oh boy, did they change a lot. My favorite change was Mrs. Van Skyler. They not only made her a communist, but they made her a big ol' lesbian. Yes! Way to do queer rep right. Oh, Miss Van Skyler as a communist is miles better than the communist character that Agatha Christie wrote in her book. Oh, she's so good and so entertaining, and I loved every moment of her. Another significant change was that they brought back one of the characters from the previous movie, Monsieur Book. Unlike in the book where everyone just happened to wind up on the ship together, or like vacationing at the same time, whatever. Everyone there has been invited by Lynette and Simon Doyle, including Monsieur Book and his mother. And because Poirot is friends with them, he gets the invite to tag along. Oh, I thought it was so much fun bringing back a character, because apart from like Poirot and like your detectives, there aren't that many recurring characters in Christie. So I liked that. Yes, good. Mrs. Otterborn is still a lush, but now instead of being an author, she is a blues singer and is kind of flirting with Poirot. Oh, and one of the big grievances people had with the first one is that they made up a love interest for Poirot, which, yeah, that is dumb. And they went into it even more so in this new movie. The opening scene shows Poirot in World War I, which already is like, no. They're completely retconning Poirot's entire backstory. In the books, Poirot was a refugee during World War I, but here they have him fighting in the trenches, and he helps his group go to victory. But then there was an explosion, and he got horribly injured and lost like a giant chunk of his face, like gashes it all over his upper lip and cheek. And then when his love interest saw him, she was like, well, just grow a mustache. So that's supposed to be why he wears a big mustache. But like, I thought scar tissue doesn't grow hair, so like, how does that work? I really loved the portrayal of Lynette and Jackie. I thought both of them did a great job. And of course, like with any adaptation of anything ever, they had to consolidate some characters, they had to get rid of some. Didn't feel like much of a loss though. I was surprised to see that the snake scene from the '78 movie returned in a form. Rather than somebody putting a snake in Poirot's room, he's looking at a snake at the market and then it attacks Lynette and he saves her. Oh, and then one of the best things about the Murder on the Orient Express is just how beautiful it looks. And this film is no different. It is breathtaking. Just all of the images of Egypt. Oh, it was so nice to stare at and watch. I do feel like the whodunit was a little more obvious in the movie, just because they're like, we have to look at the alibis, but like, they've not really emphasized anybody's alibi except for the people who did it, so like... Oh, and they also changed the ending. They didn't change who done it, but oh, I'm sure you're aware by now that my video now is spoilers, and it has been, but it's going to be extra spoilery now. So, Jacqueline did not wait until they got off the ship for the murder-suicide. She kisses her man, puts the gun behind his back, and shoots through both of them. Yeah. And then they just slump down together as she mouths, "I love you." Oh, it was so dramatic. I loved it. Oh, so good. Oh, and then I have a pretty solid theory about what the third movie in this series is going to be. Because remember, back in the first one, they gave us a clue for what the next adaptation was going to be. At the very end, as he gets off the train, someone's like, "Poirot, you're needed in Egypt. There's been a murder on the Nile." So, like, obviously the next one's gonna be Death on the Nile. Well, in this movie, there's a scene where Poirot is talking to Mrs. Otterborn, and he says someday he'd like to retire and grow vegetable marrows, which is exactly what happens in the murder of Roger Ackroyd. Yeah, so I'm pretty sure that's gonna be the next book that they adapt in this series. So I'm excited for that. So yeah, those are just some of my initial thoughts about this film. I, overall, really loved this new Death on the Nile film, and I'm definitely going to be watching it over and over and over. I know a lot of diehard Christie fans are up in arms about it, and like, I hear you, they change things, but like, change is okay. Change is okay. Oh, it was so good. Yes. Oh, have you seen the new Death on the Nile movie yet? Are you going to? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you all so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And if it pleases and sparkles, I'll see you in the next video. Mwah!